Hi, I'm Ashley Lopez, and today I want to talk about one of my very favorite exercises, shoulder bridge. This is a really common exercise that you might find in a yoga class or Pilates class, in a HIIT workout, any number of places, certainly as well physical therapy. One of the reasons that I love this exercise so much is because it is easy, it's simple, and nearly everybody can do it. All it takes is a small amount of space and your own body weight. One of the things that I love so much about shoulder bridge is it addresses and corrects a lot of issues that come from the dreaded chair dwellers lifestyle. Now that's most modern humans, so we spend a whole lot of time in chairs when we're traveling on buses, planes, trains, cars, doesn't really matter, we're sitting. We sit when we're working, we sit when we're eating, we sit when we are watching movies and TV. So we end up in this somewhat unhealthy position that creates tight hip flexors and weak glutes, otherwise known in the therapy world as dead butt syndrome. This can contribute to hip pain and destabilization of the hip joints. It can lead to problems with the low back and low back pain. It can lead to problems with tight and or weak hamstrings, tight and or weak quadriceps. And shoulder bridge really does a whole lot to help us alleviate a lot of these problems. Here's the thing, it's an awesome exercise, but only if you do it correctly. And unfortunately, at least from what I see in the gym, a lot of people do exercises, but they actually practice poor form, which can actually exacerbate the very problems that you're trying to correct. So, how to do a good bridge? It's actually very simple. If you think about what happens in a chair, your hips close. The angle of the hips gets smaller. So in bridge, we're trying to do the opposite of that. Now here's what I see in a lot of classes that I teach. When people first get up into a bridge, they're going to try to push themselves up with their mid-back muscles. Their ribs are gonna flare out. Their booty's actually not gonna go very high, and their hips won't open up completely. It's okay, this is just because they don't know how to use their poor dead butt. Here's what you wanna think about when you're doing your bridge instead. When you go to get into your bridge, there's a very popular alignment tip that I see and I don't agree with, and that's try to bring your heels all the way back to your fingertips. Well, not everybody's body proportions are the same, so that may or may not work for you perfectly. So here's what I say. Lay on the floor, put your heels underneath your knees. Don't worry about whether your heels touch your fingers or not, it's not important. Then think about pressing your entire foot into the floor. Heels, balls of the feet, big toes, pinky toes, the whole bit. From there, make sure that your feet and knees are parallel. If you need a little help with that, and a lot of people with tight IT bands or tight hip muscles, they actually might notice that their knees flare out to the sides. This is not what we want. So perhaps you can just grab a little pillow or a mini ball or a yoga block, put it between your knees. This way, you'll be activating your inner thighs to hold on to that implement, and you'll be keeping your legs parallel, win and win. Secondly, when you come up into bridge, think about pressing into your heels and keep your abdominals engaged. When you get up into your shoulder bridge, you don't have to go very high. You're just trying to lift up enough so that you're making a nice diagonal angle from your knees to your shoulders. It doesn't have to be a huge back bend. Once you get up there, feel for your hip bones, place your hands on your hip bones, then feel for your lowest ribs, and then try to make these 2 points kiss each other. So this means that you're actually posturally rotating your pelvis, which deactivates the low back muscles, which might be trying to hold your life together. Thank you, no thank you. It also lengthens the hip flexors, which also might be trying to hold your life together. And instead places the work in the abdominals, gluteus maximus, and hamstrings. Lastly, if you're not feeling those hamstrings yet, don't worry, I have another trick. Think about pressing your heels into the floor. Do not walk your feet back. Keep them right where they are. And just think about pulling your heels back towards your shoulders without changing the pelvic position. Now, you should feel the backs of the thighs and your butt working, and your abs are assisting from up top. no awkward back bending position for the spine, and no closed cheating for those tight, grippy hip flexors. Now you're working the right muscles and you're getting length in your hip flexors and you're getting length in your back, and you're not compressing the low back or arching your mid back and flaring your ribs. The other thing that I love about this exercise is there's 1,000,001 variations. So once you get in it, well, you can do little things like pulse your knees in and engage your inner thighs. This is especially great for those people who have tight IT bands, which usually means overactive TFL muscles. Another great variation is twisting your hips. So you're rotating the hips without moving the knees. And this is going to help you use one glute at a time, building a little bit more symmetry. Another thing that you can do are just little hip lifts, or what I like to call humping the ceiling. Kind of embarrassing, but it works the glutes out really well. And then if you want to go a step further into intermediate land, you can think about lifting one leg at a time, maybe doing some toe taps, maybe doing some leg extensions, and lastly, you can try doing some leg circles. And again, this is going to help you work both sides evenly. It also helps people work on balance without actually having to stand on one leg and worrying about falling over. Hope you found this video helpful. If you ever want to work out with me, I offer classes on daturaonline.com, or you can visit my website, ashleylopez.com. Thanks, and have fun doing your glute bridges.